Hey ya, and welcome to the podcast today. Greetings, peace, light, and love. And if you recall in the videos, past couple of videos, I talked about several things. And one of the things that I talked about was why we feel disconnected. And this disconnection is what causes people to be sad, people to be anxious, to people to be overstressed, and people to be depressed. Okay, now you can't wake up one morning and all of a sudden say to yourself, okay, I'm going to be joyful today and I'm going to have a good day. You can't wait for depression to pass. Okay, you have to do what? You have to reconnect with yourself and ask yourself questions and get answers in order to reconnect. Okay, so we talked about there's several things that lead to disconnection. Those are some things that happened in your past, may lead you to disconnect from different things, like communicating with other people. And there's a lot of disconnection in society today. I mean, here we have politicians completely being disconnected from one another, disconnected from the people, disconnected from their purpose of being in the government. And we have so many people that is divided. Okay. I also talked in another video about love, about unconditional love. I think it's the title is the 5 levels of love. And there are 5 levels of love because you cannot say you love someone by manipulating them. You cannot tell someone, I love you. Therefore, then I'm telling you to do this. I'm right. That's how I'm showing love. No, love is unconditional. Love should be, I love you because you are who you are. Okay, so let's go on to you are always creating. A lot of people these days believe that reality is fixed, that they're stuck in this particular reality. They are stuck in this stressful environment and there's no way out. This is not correct. Reality is not fixed. You have the power within you to change your reality, to change your environment, to change your emotions. You have that power within you to do this, but you have to know how. Okay. The mind is always building something. Either you building in your lower self or you building in your higher self. When you're building in your lower self, what you are building on the inside is going to be reflected on the out. So if you find yourself repeating the same thing over and over in your life, then you have to start asking yourself some questions. And when you start asking yourself questions, this leads to finding connection. You are connecting back to self, back to source. Okay? Finding your connection is vitally important because you must have your mind, your emotions, and your actions in aligned with your purpose. So if you find yourself dealing with stress, I would suggest that a good thing that you can do would be to ask yourself questions. What is your purpose? Because once you find your purpose, you find your connection. You begin to develop a more stronger connection when you find your purpose. You attach that purpose to an emotion, joy. Okay. And then you start acting out and speaking your purpose to yourself and allowing your purpose to lead you and guide you down the right path. A lot of other people today, they lack purpose. They think their purpose is to get up every morning and go to work to pay bills. That is the reason why they were born, just to get up, pay bills, send your kids off to school. That's just life. Well, that's what you believe, then that is what your life shall be. But if you know that your life is worthy, you are worthy of being here. You were put here for a reason. Now it's time to find out why. Finding your purpose can really and truly help you get connected. So let me read this right here in this particular paragraph. It says, because this is what helped me find my connection. So while I was in middle school in Atlanta, children were kidnapped and murdered. That was during these missing and murdered children uh, in the 80s, okay? My mom had to work, so she could not take me to school, and I had to walk a long distance to and from middle school. It was on those long, lonely walks that Duke came into play. He gave me comfort and he made me feel safe and protected. He was my John Wayne. So, what had happened was during this time, I developed a imaginary friend, and my favorite actor was John Wayne because TBS, that's all they showed was the older pictures, okay, in the older movies. And my favorite actor was John Wayne because he embodied his characters embodied strong male warrior types. Okay, stoic, don't show a lot of emotions, just get her done. Okay, and that is what I felt at the time that I needed. Okay, so I developed this relationship with this so called imaginary friend. And I walk and I talk. It was like a 30-minute walk to my imaginary friend. And it was like now that I look back, it was like I was communicating with myself, which I was communicating with my inner self. And that's how I believe, I could tap into different tools that I use later on in life. So I hope that this message today will give you another step to learning how to find your connection. And if you would like to find, any type of information uh, on this book, you can go in the description below and find out how you can get on the right waiting list on how to free yourself. Okay? The discussions that I conducted with my imaginary friends when I got older, they became letters to Duke. Okay? And right here, this is where I talk about letters to myself and Duke. Okay? As I got older, different things began to happen. I kept a journal. I told him Duke about here we have here. I told Duke about my joy, my loneliness, my crushes, my dreams. I told him how hard it was trying to be normal when I did not feel like I fit in. Okay. Eventually, I did have, some good friends when I was in high school consistently. And that is where I really began to open up and to begin to reconnect and to enjoy life. If you're not enjoying life, you got to ask yourself why. Why are you not enjoying life? Are you projecting your past onto people who are in your present? Are you repeating the same thing over and over again? The negativity, the unhappiness, the stress, are you repeating it over and over again? These are some of the questions that you can ask yourself. So, with that being said, I thank you for watching, and I hope that you are able to get something from what was talked about today. So, Wado